Hey, everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What's shaking on your Friday? You made it to the end of the week. You broke the tape. Now it's your weekend, and congratulations to you. Tonight, I am going to tell you about toy cap guns. Gotta say toy, because certain platforms, they don't like talking about guns. So toy cap guns, which were ubiquitous. Everybody had them. We'll get to all that in just a second. Let's go to the most cheerful chat room on the internet, as voted on by a panel of experts. Karen Garvey is with us. So many great people are with us here on this Friday evening. The Reverend Wild Bill says, let me tell you about cap guns. Yeah, we all know about cap guns. Hey, doopa doopa. Sunday Jenna saying hi because it's the most cheerful chat room on the internet. After Tom is done. Well, yeah, kind of, that'd be polite. Sunday, yeah, people saying hi. Hey there, PLV. How you doing tonight, sir? Nice to see you. John's Ear Mites, one of the very best screen names in the history of screen names. Happy Friday, Gully Pullies. There's no officially endorsed nickname for the followers yet. Anyway, so Gully Pullies, throw it into the pile. Hey, there's Deanna Marie. Deanna Marie, thought of you today because I went to the store and I wanted to get some of that Baja Blast Zero Mountain Dew. They didn't have any. They had the regular Baja Blast. They didn't have the Zero. So I ended up getting, it's called Spark, I think. Mountain Dew Spark Zero. It's pretty good. It's pretty darn good. Right now I have Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda Zero. And I got to tell you, it's pretty good. Pretty gall darn good. The Kahuna is here. Says, hey gang. People saying hi to Karen Garvey. Randy Ramos, he says, the chef and his crew are in the house down there in Union Station making up them fancy pizzas that they make down there. Jokerfish says, Kahuna Mahalo. Mahalo. Yeah, namaste. Mahalo. People saying hi. People saying hi. John Ziermite says, meh. I don't know what about, but I can't say that I disagree. Aku is here, says, hey, yo. People saying hi. Deanna Marie says, ooh, that sounds good. It is good. Everything's good. The Spark has, I think, some citrus and some berries in it. It's pretty good. Very good. People saying hi. People saying hi. Deanna Marie says, nice. That is nice. I remember when that used to be oh, yeah, I was going to mention this. Replayables tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Check it out. Check it out. They ain't waiting. They're going to go. They're doing it. 8 p.m. Eastern. No waiting around. No fuss. No muss. Covers quick. No excuses. Boom! Check out Bobby Frank and Chris Abels and Shawnee and whatever guests they have on, and maybe even Homie Don't Play That. Hard to say. Oh, by the way, share, subscribe, like, retweet, all that stuff. You want to turn on your gifted memberships. There may be some out there floating in the ether still that weren't claimed from last night. All you got to do is follow what it says on the crawl at the bottom of the screen right now, youtube.com/@TomGullyShow/allow_gifts. Get yourself a membership. It's not really good for anything yet because we haven't done any members-only shows, but I just might. You double dog dare me, and I might. People saying hi. Hugh is here. Says, hello, everyone. Oh, hey, Tom. Oh, hey, Hugh. Cheers, Gullyettes. Gullyettes. I do need a rockin' group of smoking hot go-go dancers to be the Gullyettes. Ladies, you can apply on the community section of my YouTube page. That's never going to happen. Sunday Jenna says, Abel's, now it's a cheerful chat. Well, we are the most cheerful chat room on the internet, as voted on by a panel of experts. But I do have to say, Chris Abels puts us over the top. People saying hi. Spenduncle said, try Dr. Pepper's, was blind for a week. Well, not this. This is Dr. Pepper Zero cream soda added. Maybe that made you blind. I don't know. People saying hi. 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 It is the most cheerful chat room on the internet. People saying hi. People saying hi. Chris Abel says, thank you, Tom, brother. Don't thank me. You did all the work. 8 p.m. Eastern time on the Levyverse Network. It is the Friday night. That's the, let their hair down a little bit more on Friday. That's the Replayables After Dark. Anyway, let's see here. Aku, people saying hi. Gully birds. I don't mind gully birds. I don't have a problem with that. I don't care. I don't care what the name is, as long as it's whatever the name is. Assemble. It's the assemble part that it's like that end game thing that I triple dog dare you. Oh man, I was not prepared for a triple dog dare this evening. I'm only wearing one pair of underwear. Aku says, Abels can't wait to get the breathalyzer. I'll try to set a high score for you to beat. Yeah, I understand. Aku won a breathalyzer. Jokerfish, the Gulletines. I kind of like that. The Gulletines. There's something, I don't know, there's something, the choice of the new generation about that. A lot of people with brand new Gully Gang, Gully Group, Gully Heads, Gullerino type names. Hello all, says Lyndon. Hello, Lyndon. Did you mail your email address? You guys, you're doing business in my chat room. No, I'm kidding. I don't care. Gilman says, have you ever put peanuts in a Dr. Pepper? I most certainly have. It was handed down to me in the ancestral way by my grandmother, who used to put peanuts in her Dr. Pepper. I believe she was taught it by her husband, my grandfather. Sunday Jenna says, Gully Birds. Hi, Terry Nee. Gully Birds. I don't, I have no stake in that, but it's got to be assemble. My favorite is Gullerinos, but I don't even care if you don't use it. I don't care. It's not my thing. Not my thing. Chris Abels with a drink o' booze emoji. People saying hi. Aku says, injury report. No falls, but a few cuts today from throwing damaged panels around in a steel bin. Used quarter, took offense, got me. Oh, sorry to hear that. Better get some Bactine on that. Sunday Genesis says, Joker, that sounds like a punk band, the Gulletines. It kind of does. It kind of does. It's either a punk band or like a 60s, like rock surf. Like Dick Dale type of a band. SG Fanboy says, Gulletines, assemble. Dirty. Oh. My goodness gracious me. I can't believe I am so incredibly egg on my face right now. Oh my God. SG Fanboy sent me the coolest thing. This is going to make me actually... No, I can't do it right now. Wait till you see on Monday what SG Fanboy sent me. It is the coolest thing ever. Dirty Bird and Terry Nee. Let's see. Gully's Goons. I don't mind that either. I was, my first 2 years in high school, I was a defensive midfielder on the soccer team before I started playing goalkeeper. And the coach referred to me and the other defensive midfielder as the Goon Squad because we used to mess people up. Akumugan says, yes, I think I sent it that night. I believe you guys are doing business. What happens with peanuts and Dr. Pepper? Oh, it's just delicious. They just float. You drink the Dr. Pepper, a couple peanuts go in your mouth, you chew them up, and it just creates an explosion of ecstasy. Let's see here. Homie Don't Play That is here. Hey, Tom Gully and everyone. Hello, homie. Try and keep you know who in line, you know when. 52 minutes and 8 seconds from now. Terry Nee is posting emojis of animals. Seagull are birds. They are. SG Fanboy sent me the coolest assemble thing last night, and I just got so busy, I barely made it to the show today. Good evening, guys and girls. Good evening, Diane O'Brien from Shrewsbury, Shropshire. SG is a star. He is a star. And a good eve. Love it. Akumugan says, only went through the first layer of sore skin, so no need to find a vet to put stitches in. SG Family says, don't hype it up. It'll be a big letdown for everyone. Yeah, I won't talk about it anymore, and then we'll just show it on Monday. That way there'll be a whole weekend for people to lower their expectation. Homie, don't play that, being warmly regarded here in the room, and rightfully so. Birds ain't real. Birds ain't real. They made them in a laboratory. You tell me how they can fly. Aku says, so Tom, you're saying I should make a drink from Screwball and DP on it? I'll report on Monday. I think I'm out of DP. Well, they sell it in stores. You can't buy it in stores. You can only get it in boxes of Breeze detergent. Anybody remember that? That is so good. All right, here. Hope you don't play that. All right, let me see here. I got to open my thing. Hope you don't play that. It's saying hi to folks. Because, of course, we do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet, as voted on by a panel of experts. Let me see here. Cap. Okay, here we go. I got it right here. I then. Yeah, I'm going to start showing you Cap Gun. Oh, by the way, right behind me here are the rolls, the perforated rolls of Cap. We'll get to all that in just a second, but we'll get to that. All right, there's a Cap Gun right there. As you noticed, it has the orange tip for safety, and we got to talk a lot of safety here. But anyway. The history of cap guns, toy cap guns. Now, real guns that used caps first appeared around the Civil War. And just because they needed faster firing weapons, Springfield Model 1855 musket was fitted with a Maynard tape primer. So it was a roll of paper that had been sort of festooned with fulminate. You know what fulminate is, right? That's fulminate is a very unstable substance. So it's usually in the form of a salt, and when it gets hit, there's mercury fulminate. There's all sorts of fulminate. Hey, when in Breaking Bad, when he goes into Tuco's office and he's talking about all the, took away the Jesse's thing, and then he goes, "This is not meth." What is it then? And he throws it on the ground and it explodes. Remember that awesome scene in Breaking Bad? That was fulminate. Anyway, these rolls of fulminate were not practical because of mud and rain, and so the Union Army reverted to using the conventional copper percussion cap, and after demand for caps declined, firearms companies experimented with toy cap guns modeled after real percussion cap guns. So cap guns became very popular when the heroes of movies and TV rode through the West. That's the cowboy cap gun was probably the most popular cap gun. And Roy Rogers, Gene Autry, Hopalong Cassidy, the Lone Ranger, Tonto, Dale Evans, Marshall Matt Dillon, all endorsed a brand of toy cap guns. So the golden age of cap guns was about a 20-year period following World War II, when television became popular, and companies like, and some of these you're not going to remember, but these were all toy companies. Nichols, Hubley, Kenton, Kilgore, Wyandotte, Classy. Remember Classy Toys? Mattel, you'll remember that one. Actoy, Esquire, George Schmidt, Jane E. Stevens, and companies like Lone Star Toys, which was strangely enough not in the United States, it was in the United Kingdom. They made millions upon millions of cap guns in various versions. And let me just show you. It's not the greatest picture in the world, but these are some of the various versions. There's just a ton of them. They made all sorts of sizes, and mostly cowboy guns, though. And they all had Western-sounding names like Stallion 45, Pony, Mustang, Pioneer, Cowboy, Texan, Rodeo, you know. So children all over the world emulated their heroes by collecting and playing with these toy guns. But when Western TV shows started to fade away, the cap gun then started to be produced in military and secret agent modes until the popularity of tie-in to a TV show toy guns diminished. And eventually all the famous cap gun manufacturers either sold out to other toy companies or started manufacturing other stuff. So there were many types of cap guns, including guns from small derringers to large rifles, even working miniatures of actual rifles. Here's one of those rifles right there. And if you look closely, you can see that the roll of caps on the inside of it. And it looks like this sucker here would probably shoot like 100 caps without needing another roll, which was important. You didn't want to have to reload, just like a regular gun. One of the last famous cap guns to sell in good number was a toy rifle named after the television show The Rifleman, which aired from 1958 to 1963. Other shows lasted longer. Gunsmoke lasted till 1975, but they didn't have as much kid appeal. These were adult shows, and they didn't appeal to children quite as much. So sales of toy cap guns began to decline. The pistols were generally three styles: semi-automatic, the revolver, which actually had a revolving cylinder carrying a disc of caps, which I will show you in a second, and the mock revolver, which looked like a revolver, but you opened it to load the roll of caps. And the roll was a really popular way. And the caps themselves looked like a little blemish or something. They were just a little disc, a little bump in the paper of the roll. Almost all the early models used either roll caps or circular disc caps, but there was a revolving cylinder one which individual bullets got loaded into, and the cap was placed into the two-piece bullet, and when the gun was loaded and fired, it seemed more realistic. So you actually loaded that one. And there was another one, and I think I'll mention it later, that you actually taped the cap onto the back of the bullet, and it was a revolver too. Years later, there's a plastic sort of spring pressure pellet, but you'll see all of these went to the wayside when a really good idea came along. Mattel produced an automatic firing cap weapon styled after the Thompson machine gun. So you pulled back on the slide, which you would do on a real Thompson, and that prepared the gun for firing by tensioning a spring. When the trigger was pulled, the spring power would drive the mechanism, firing a series of up to 10 caps from a sprocket-fed roll. And that was originally made for Dick Tracy and then camouflaged later on for a Green Beret deal. And then it was restyled one more time for Planet of the Apes. So as you can see, they tried to tie these to a lot of TV types of deals. Now here's the roll. This is the roll, and that's what it looked like. And as you can see, those little circles, that's where the cap was. And it really sucked when you got a dud. You know, if you got a dud, you'd hit that thing and it would turn black, but it wouldn't make the pop. And sometimes after you got done with the roll, you'd go through, and the ones that misfired, you'd hit them with hammers just to make them pop if you could. But some of them were just flat out duds. These duds, they just didn't work. There's a thing that they had called, and I just mentioned this a couple seconds ago, greeny stickum caps. And these were green peel and stick, like a sticker, and Mattel made these, that you put on the back of those shooting shells. So you got all your shells, you put them on the back of them, and then when you needed to reload, you had a brand new cap to shoot. There's the red plastic circular discs that are used today. And by the way, I think these are the best ones, personally. They contain gunpowder and zinc alloy, and the explosion is a little bit smaller than the pure gunpowder ones that they used back in the 50s. But they just seem to be the most effective and easy to me. And then similar to the discs, I'll just show you the disc. Similar to the plastic discs, they have sticks that just load straight, and you can use those too. But these here, if you got kids or grandkids, and this is the way to go, because those don't hardly ever misfire, and you just pop them in, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shots right there, and they're not going to go bad. They're not going to. You're not going to get as many duds. Nothing's worse than the dud. You know? They really are. Pretty much. Now, potato or spud guns, they call them. Usually, those potato guns actually shoot the potato thing pretty well. But some of them also have caps, just to add more sound and a little bit more oomph, if that makes any sense. One of the biggest things about cap guns today, and all toy guns, and I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea, but it's just different than when we was growing up as kids. Beginning in 1988, cap guns and other toy guns in the United States had to be manufactured with a bright orange, red, or yellow tip that would be placed over the muzzle of the cap gun, as you see before you now, or with the entire gun. You didn't necessarily have to put that color over the muzzle, as long as you made the whole gun that color, that weird bright color. And the laws that required this were because of incidents where children and teenagers were killed by police officers who mistook their cap guns for real guns. And let's face it, the guns got more and more and more realistic for kids. Even though those incidences were rare, lawmakers just went, you know what, let's not take any chances. Now, caps occasionally are used in other toys. Once in a while. One example would be the He-Man Thunder Punch version action figure. And ring caps were placed in the backpack, integrated into the action figure, which contained the striking mechanism for the caps, as well as some little vents to allow the smoke from the spent cap to escape. That mechanism was triggered, much like one of the cap guns. You drew the spring-loaded right arm back and released it to swing forward, and a thing attached to the back of the arm on the inside of the action figure hit that ring cap, and it was intended to recreate the absolutely thunderous sound of a punch from He-Man. There were similar mechanisms for certain toy soldiers and artillery pieces. A new airsoft gun, those hybrid airsoft, they use little small round plastic BBs. You put caps behind the casing of those, and in the electric powered airsoft guns, the caps are burst and the pressure is used to propel the BB like a real firearm. And the leftover energy is sometimes used as recoil and ejects the casing just like a real gun. Caps are often used in toy flare guns. The cap propels 1 or 2 pyrotechnic star loads into a flare. Now, you guys have all seen these, and I was going to get a picture of one, but I didn't. Cap bombs. Have you seen those? They look like a World War II bomb. And you put the cap, or several of them, if you're like me and my brothers, you folded them up. You ripped off 4 off the roll and folded them up. But the front of the bomb is like detached from the body. So you put the caps on this part and you throw it up in the air. When it hits the ground, the back end of it drives into the cap and explodes. I thought they were cool. Exploding pens are devices that look like ink pens, but they contain an anvil where the cap is placed. And so it's a spring-loaded lever. And when you pull the cap of the pen off, that lever goes forward, and it's a practical joke, and it's quite a corker. Fool your friends. Anyway, some toy trains use caps to have exploding boxcars and other stuff. And I'll just go ahead and say some caps are stronger than others. And back in the 50s, they were just using gunpowder. So those were pretty strong caps. And I remember when I was a kid, a cap could burn you and stuff. I mean, they were still pretty potent even when old Tom was a kid. So anyway, do I have any other pictures to show you? Because I think that might just end our treatise on caps. And I think that's it. That's all we got. That's the story of cap guns. And I haven't seen a cap gun in forever. I wish I had, but I haven't. But I wish I had. The last ones I saw used those rings, and I thought those rings were just the coolest thing ever. So, what do we got going on here? Hamhead gifted 5 Tom Gully Show memberships. Make sure and turn on your gifted memberships like it says at the bottom of the crawl there. And Homie Don't Play That gifted 1. You guys are the best. You guys are the absolute best. I'm telling you. Let me see here. Here's where I was. Oh, doggone it. Phone software popped up. Blocked my... Julian Zeezer says Dr. Pepper and rum called a pepper bomb. Yum. That's pretty good. Let's see here. Good evening, Dina Marie. It's the most cheerful chat room. Here's my good friend, Sandy Eastman. And we just don't see enough of Sandy. She's a wonderful lady. She's a longtime resident of Las Vegas. Dad was a famous law officer. She works for the law enforcement out there, too. And she's the biggest Pittsburgh Steeler fan on the face of the planet. And Sandy Eastman, it's always good to see you. Terry Nee says, best toy ever. It was really great. Man, no orange tip nonsense either. Hey, Terry, wasn't it great when you had your cap gun and you had that full roll? Because those rolls came in connected to each other, right? Like this. And you had to break off a roll, break off a roll, break off a roll. And you broke off a roll and you threaded it through the thing and you knew you had the whole roll. Oh, nothing was better. Nothing was finer. Fulminate me, Daddy. Fulminate me. Actually, that's kind of hot. If a girl was to say, fulminate me. It would show her knowledge of chemistry. Sven Uncle says, I had a toy tank running on caps. Yeah, man, they used to have big explosive power. Chris Abel says, do you think that's where the term put a cap in there behind came from? That might have come from the actual firearms, but maybe. The roll did misfire a lot. Yeah, it could slip. You had to clean it because all of that gunpowder and smoke would make it slip through the threading of the deal. Those rings don't do that. It ain't gonna slip no how. Deanna Marie says, this is so interesting because I wasn't allowed to have these when I was a kid. Well, even when I was a kid, there were some kids that weren't allowed to have them. Karen Garvey says, love the smell of the fired caps. And yeah, those fired caps had a certain smell. There was a kid in my neighborhood that used to chew the spent roll paper from caps, which I always thought was a little smells like victory. It does, kind of. Hamhead gifted 5 Tom Gully Show memberships. Chris Abel said, Hamhead, thank you so much. Hamhead, he the man. Hamhead says, 2 times this week, Chris Abels. By the way, did I mention replayables tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Levyverse Network? Did I mention that? I don't even know if there's a Rico. I looked before the show started, but I didn't see one. I don't think they do them on Friday, do they? Though they just do the, who are these podcasts? No, Point Dabble Point. They do that. Chris Abel says, yes, I owe you a drink or two, brother. Didn't know you could gift yourself a membership, though. That's nice. You can. Well, I don't know. I didn't know you could gift yourself. I knew you could buy yourself. Chris Abel says, I seen that. That's awesome. I seen it. I tell you what, I seen it. Chris Abel says, iPhone won't let me gift here. iPhone does weird things here. Producer Joe might be able to hip you onto what's going on there. Julian Caesar says, my idea for cap-filled chewing gum never took off. Daggone it. I hate it when that doesn't. Homie Don't Play That is a wonderful person. And so happy her and Chris Abels got together. That's a match made in heaven. Angry Snowball says you could frame your gifted memberships for posterity. Class up the den. That's right. Class up. Everything we do here is classy. Here's proof. I'm drinking my Dr. Pepper Zero with cream soda with my pinky up. You know why? It's the class. It's the class. Class. I got to tell you, kids, I had a day that I thought was not going to be a great day up until just about 2 hours ago. And then something happened that made it the most spectacular day. Totally unexpected out of the blue. And yeah. Don't forget the awesome smell. The smell of fired cap is pretty good, really. I would have used caps from around 88 to 90, 94. I'd have been using caps from about 68 to 75 or so, probably. Although my brother's kids or somebody had a revolver one, and it was made of metal. It felt like a revolver. You undid the front, you swing out the cylinder, and then you put one of those ring caps in it, popped it back in. It was awesome. So awesome. Terry Nee saying hi to some denizens of the room. Hamhead said the rolls of... Oh, by the way, phone lines are open at 972-994-6822. Numbers in the crawl if you care to call in. Hamhead said the rolls of paper caps were... Well, there was a period when they weren't. I think they were a lot better when it was pure gunpowder. You know what I'm saying? The pure gunpowder. I think it's a lot better than it's pure gunpowder. Let's see here. I was a fan of the plastic 6-shooter caps. Yes, Hamhead. Myself as well. Chris Abel says, ooh, I'm going to have to try that, Julian. What do you think? I have to go back now. What's he have to go? Oh, that pepper, whatever. Fulminator. I barely know her. Man, I fulminated this girl the other day. Fulminated sounds like, you had eggs and cheese and malt duck. Man, I fulminated that bathroom. I wouldn't go in there for a while. That bathroom's been fulminated. daggone it. This phone has just been... It's supposed to be helping. It's not helping. It's supposed to really be helping, but it's just not. Let's see here. Let me see here. I tell you guys I agreed to do something Wednesday and Thursday that I'm going to see if I can get out of. I really don't have to do anything I don't want to do at this stage of the game. Rico at 8. Man, are those guys conflicting with replayables? Oh, man, I'm not mad at either one of them. I got to go back and forth. And by the way, Friday nights, I got to go to bed. I got to be up at 3:30 in the morning so I can get up in the morning and go... News Radio 1080 KRLD. There. I dox myself. John's Earmite says there's supposed to be a Rico tonight. Still have my cap gun model Colt 1911. Is that a mag? Or does the roll come through the mag section? I don't know how that would work. There will be a Rico tonight. And there will be a Rico. Their sun'll come up tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be Rico. I wasn't allowed to have cap guns as a kid. I think maybe this was because I was allowed to use real ones. That's the thing. Terry Nee says you have to be more specific. I mean, I have been. SG Fanboy is laughing at Terry. Sven Dunkel says it cut out of the caps and throw them out automatically. Got a real blade. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Julian Zezer said gifted 1 Tom Gully Show membership. Aku says I had a few steel cap guns, found the starter's pistol cap and loaded it, blew the gun apart, blackened my hand, and my hearing didn't return for a handful of hours later. Wow, thank you, Julian, says homie don't play it. Julian's a good man. He's a damn good man. Sven Dunkel says the mechanics are louder than the caps. Aku sounds like maybe you shouldn't leave the house. Glad you're alive. Aku does have adventures. DG on Rico tonight, I think. I think I heard that too. Oh, and DG's going to have emails, supposedly. But you know what? Replayables is going to have a spinning wheel that makes people drink, and somebody could hurl, and they gave away a breathalyzer the other night. So there's just a panacea of entertainment going on up in this hizzy. Homie says, I know where my heart lies. Is that a Disney song? It should be if it's not. Jokerfish says, I want to get the exploding pen trick. Here, officer, use my pen. Sven says, magazine with plastic stripe. Oh, I got you. Plastic strip. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The Wolf says, I had a whole Line Ranger 6-gun rig. 2 silver 45s, black double gun belt, and sunglasses with 6 guns in the top corner. The Wolf was always very sporty in his manner of dress. When he could find clothes that would fit, he's got like a size 18 waist and size 72 thighs. It's the damnedest thing you ever saw. Julian Zezer says, Aku spent a few hours reading every warning label you can find. 972-994-6822. It's in the crawl. Please turn on your gifted memberships, by the way. It says right now at the bottom of the crawl, gifted memberships at youtube.com/@TomGullyShow/allow_gifts. It's in the crawl. You dig it the most. You dig it the most, man. You dig it the most. What movie? Anybody. What movie? Lone Ranger. Can't get better than the Lone Ranger. You dig it the most. Oh, man, I am going. You dig it the most. I don't care what anybody says. That's some good stuff. Sven Dunkel says, I had the Rambo set with fake knife and compass. That's probably worth a lot of money today, I bet you anything. SG Fanboy says, any plans this weekend, Tom? Yeah, get up at 3 in the morning, go downtown into the giant, used to be the CBS radio building. It's got a different name now. Go upstairs, prep the news for an hour and a half or 2 hours, then do a news update, then do 2 hours of nonstop news, and then do updates at the top and bottom of the hour till 1 in the afternoon, then come home and just sleep until 3:30 the next morning. Go back down there, and then I'm on the Texas State Network, and I do 5-minute updates at the top of the hour until 1 in the afternoon. And write news stories and voice news stories. And I usually try to get 10 to 12 of those done. And then I come back here and I am so tired. And that's about the time people will ask me to do things. There's my plans for the weekend. And by the way, I ain't going to be doing that much longer. I have decided to put more effort into this because Aku Mugen says, I feel attacked by the chat and my past self. Well, you shouldn't feel that way. No one's attacking you here. And if they do, I will defend you with a cap gun. Aku Mugen says, remember the dumb ones didn't make it. Now we can sue over every little thing rather than learn and survive. Well, that's the old bit about difference between mom and dad. You know, kid starts to wander over to an outlet with a fork in his hand, and the mother goes, oh, we better. And the dad goes, let's see what happens. He could learn something here. Sven Dunkel says, I always had to hide my toy guns and soldiers from my hippie parents. Aku, don't worry about your past self, for you are the future. I never had to hide my toys of any kind. My parents, you know, somebody gave us toys or they gave us toys. Go ahead. It's imagination. I mean, we were out in the yard with sticks as rifles. So when we got toy rifles, my parents were fully on board with it. Aku says, true dat. Terry Nee says, Aku, true dat. True dat. 100%. We're all just keeping it real. Anyway. Sticks for guns and rifles. And we would whittle the bark off of a stick. And if you got a really good pistol stick, you put your name on it and stuff. I grew up on a small farm in Indiana. SG Fanboy says, I had to hide my pipes as a teen. That was about it. The Wolf says, my 6 guns developed into the squab gun. Not only have I seen the squab gun in action, I have fired the squab gun. Just once, but I fired the squab gun. Terry Nee says, dirt balls, hand grenades. Yes, clods of dirt were our hand grenades. Or actual firecrackers in clods of dirt. Let's see here. Dr. Pepper versus Mr. Pibb. Who you got? Depends on my mood. To me, Mr. Pibb has a little more bite. And isn't quite as sweet. So sometimes a Mr. Pibb is mama. But I'd say overall, probably Dr. Pepper. More times than not. Sven Dunkel says, my dad gave me a bow, so this is that. Yeah. 972-994-6822 is the number to call. We have about 16 minutes and 13 seconds left in the program. Terry Nee says homemade rubber band guns. Oh, yes, the rubber band guns. What was it that we used to use? It was like it was a piece of plastic from something my mom would get, and it would be almost like a slingshot thing, and we'd put the rubber bands on it. And you could do a lot of damage with a rubber band. John Ziermites, yes, finding the perfect gun stick only to have some older kid break it for you. Oh, yeah. Stupid neighbor kid, older neighbor kid. Gilman, I used to go back and forth. Julian Caesar said, I made a rubber band gun that shot bottle caps. Clothespin firing mechanism. That might have been it, the clothespin thing. SG Fanboy says, Mr. Pibb all day long. Well, the other problem with Mr. Pibb is harder to find sometimes. But Mr. Pibb was in a lot of vending machines. Brett, the self-absorbed fireman, says, hello, gully mites. Brett wrote me a very long email detailing why he's persecuted here. I tried to read all of it, but me. Let me tell you about me. Here's what I think about me. Yeah, whatever. Aku said, I grew up on a farm, so I know what the sound of over-tightened barbed wire sounds like. Oh, man. Aku, that over-tightened tong, 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 tong. And then when you hit the barbed wire, it would make that noise. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. My great-grandfather lost an eye doing that, and I almost did the same, only my reflexes will far faster. Kim Warfield says, I used my firecrackers to explode the model NASCAR we glued together when they crashed racing in the dirt. Sven Dunkel says, we used to build our guns from 4x4s. Yeah. Brett says, LOL, thanks, Tom. Well, it is attention for you. And always start your own show, dude. See how that goes for you. What do we got? What are my numbers looking like right now? We got 26 people on YouTube. We got 20 on X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, all you Twitter people, we love you. Much love, fam. You're part of the fam. However, if you come over to YouTube and you have a YouTube account, you can be in the chat room. It's the most cheerful chat room on the internet, as voted on by a panel of experts. And that way you can interact with people if you care to. You don't have to. And be part of the gang, and that helps us with viewing hours and a lot of other things that you probably don't care about. But if you choose not to do that, hey, we love you for listening on Twitter. X, formerly known as Twitter. We love you for doing that, so just keep doing that if that's what you want to do. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, do what you want. We want you to be happy. We want you to do what you want. I just wish we could chat back and forth. Like Facebook people, like this Hunyuk. I'm just kidding, Sven. He actually can comment in our chat room because of the way StreamYard works. Twitter don't let you do that. Formerly known as Twitter, X doesn't let you do that. So, Hamhead said, did anyone ever buy those fireworks that would, hey now. Gilman says, did you ever have to pull the pull and pop cork gun? I did have one of those. That was like the training wheels to the cap gun. That was like on your way up to the cap gun, you got that. Julian Caesar says, what were those fulminate things you could throw against a hard surface and make the bang noise? Well, see, that's how tonight's show began, because there's a bunch of names for those. One's called snap and pops. Some of them are called bang pop. Some of them are pop pop. But those are little small fulminate with rock. There's a little rock in there too, to give it more of a visual when it explodes. And those are cool. So I started looking those up, but there's just not as much history on those. So I decided to do cap guns. But good question. Sven Dunkel says, come on Facebook and get stalked. Come on Facebook and get stalked. I got you. Aku Mugen says, I'm realizing I could write a book with the dumb, dangerous, and inhuman things I've done and survived. Doubt it would sell. I don't know. Aku, you could write a book on your surviving falling off of things. Brett B says, we want you happy in Gully Land. There's no we, Brett, where you're concerned. There's no we. You're not part of us. There's just no, unless it's the royal we, which I wouldn't surprise me. Bog is here. Bog is an awesome dude who lives on the French side of the German border. He's a very talented man. Greetings, Bog. Very good to see you. The Wolf says, man, that was living. Playing in the dirt, risking the loss of digits, playing with dynamite in the form of a cherry, being chased by the giant neighbor dog that broke its chain to bite you. Yes, that was that. Them's was the times. That was living. Diana O'Brien says it's a boy thing. It's a boy and tomboy. A lot of tomboys had their own stuff. Gilman says, right on, Kim. Right on, Wolf. Right on, Wolf. Knallteufel, we call them in Germany, auf Deutschland, Bang Devils. Thomas Tuchel? Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel is the Gruppenmeister Bayern München. What's Mannschaft? Anyway, howling at the moon, says the Wolf. The Wolf had the squab gun. The squab gun story by itself is 972-994-6822. If you're going to call, you better do it darn quick, because we will be out of here on top of the hour. You've got our good friends over at Replayables at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Levyverse Network, and you also have an Uncle Rico, I guess, on the Shuli Network. So the field's wide open. Your entertainment paths abound this evening. Aku Mugen says, gravity is undefeated. Yet, Aku, you are, I don't know if you're quoting me or not, but you should be, because I've been saying that for years. Gravity is undefeated against humans. A hurricane made 2 tires, and I remain champion in fistfights with horses. A hurricane has made 2 tries. Oh, yeah. Okay, I got you. And people say, well, what about planes? Planes fly through this. Hey, I said undefeated. That's a tie. It's not. The Wolf says, which squab gun story of many? I'd say the one with the car impound lot. What was that called? Nyes? It's the car impound lot one, because that's when I fired the squab gun. Eichhornchen, Schmetterling, 9999. Aku Mugen says, and that was Katrina I went through twice. Hey, don't talk about the girl that way. She's not here to defend herself. Snap and Pops and the growing black snakes were my jam, and they were cheap. Gilman, you got that right, man. They were cheap, and you get a whole box of those things for $0.25. A whole box of them. Brett B says, what was the name of the snap caps that were 6 or 8 in a connected circle? No idea. Diane O'Brien says, I had 2 brothers. I was their moving human target. Yeah, little sisters or sisters in general. Yeah. Yeah, you guys, yeah, it wasn't, that was rough. My sisters were princesses. If we did anything to my sisters, my dad, ooh boy. The Wolf says, yes, Aku, but have you fallen off 2-story roofs twice? Yeah, the Wolf has fallen off a lot of things. He's also thrown things off of roofs. It was me. I did it. I did it. No, really, Kim, who did it? Who threw that keg off of the thing on the top of the car? I did it. It was me. 'Twas me. No, really, seriously, who did it? They never would believe him. He would actually just flat out admit the things that he did, and they wouldn't believe him. Sisters were prey. Yeah, sisters were I remember other guys' sisters, because we couldn't do anything to our sisters, and other guys would just paste them in the side of the head with a snowball or do some really cruel thing, and I'd be like, hey, man, you can't do that. And we do it all the time. She shouldn't have come out here. The wolf has also been hit by lightning. He's also been shot. Yeah, also been shot. He also broke his glasses trying to tackle a tree. But in his defense, the tree said something very, very disrespectful to him. Also, his apartment burned down when he was it's the very end of his college career. And he crashed a car into a house. And the house belonged to a college professor. And the only reason he was still in college was to take one more class, and that was the professor's house that he crashed into with his car. I'm not making this up. Sven Dunkel says stealing gasoline, and then incidentally, that's where if things have gone bad, you owe it to make them even worse. That's where all that comes from. Sven Dunkel says stealing gasoline from the garage, setting stuff on fire. Oh, yeah, that was always a good time. Or just using a magnifying glass. Dupa says, yeah. Aku says, fairly certain the barn roof was 3 to 4 something. Diane O'Brien says, then I was blessed with 4 sons. How lucky was I? Yeah, but you were probably wise to their shenanigans having had brothers. Karen Garvey is laughing. I love Karen Garvey. She's the greatest. Joker says, my sister was better than me at everything, so I didn't mess with her. Karen Garvey says, please have Wolf on the show. Well, the Wolf's been on this show many times, but we do need an episode where we just, maybe one of these Fridays, we'll just have the Wolf on and we'll just go over some of this stuff, because the Wolf says, ain't life grand? Julian Caesar says, you tackled the talking tree from the Wizard of Oz. No, the Wizard of Oz tree would never speak to the wolf this way. The wolf had his nose broken in a touch football game. We won't get into that whole story, but they drugged him up because they had to re-break his nose or set it or something. And who did he choose to drive the Merc, his car, back to campus? Why, it was me. It was me. And I don't know if he remembers this. I think we've discussed it, and I can't remember whether he remembers, but we came to a 4-way stop, and it just so happened to have rained, and the streets were sheets of ice in beautiful Muncie, Indiana. We came to a 4-way stop. I hit the thing. A car came straight out in front of us. I swerved to avoid it, did a full, let's see, if you're this way and you end up that way, like a 270, and took the left-hand turn seamlessly. And he looked over at me and went, man, you can drive. But he was so gorked out, he may not remember that. Let's see here. Aku says, Wolf, do you still have all your fingers? He still has all his fingers. The something drives an Acura. I don't know what that word is, so... Kahuna says, man, sounds like Wolf was winning back in the day. Oh, he was winning. Sven says, explosives and Star Wars toys, bad mix. The Wolf says, AKA the snow sled. Yeah. I just remember having to hit the brakes because of this other car and then doing, that thing and then straightening it out. And off we went down past Jim, and wherever we were going. Hilarious looking back, how times change. They really do. Gilman says, I'm going over to replayables after this and got a feeling I'm going to forget everything I've learned. Love you, Tom. Love you too, Gilman. You're a good guy. Thanks for showing up. The Wolf drives an Acura. Pulp Fiction. Absolutely nothing to do with what we're doing. You know how you go somewhere sometimes and you hang out. You're not a bad person. You're not necessarily doing anything wrong, but you know you don't fit in. Some people never get that sensation. Dupadoo says, Diana, I know. Hey, man, I got to get out of here because we only got 1 minute left, and I know you guys want to all get to either Rico or Replayables or both. We love all those guys, but, man, Chris Abels and his folks, you do them a solid over there and check them out. And, yeah, that's about all I got. I've got to go do tedious things for the whole weekend. I hope your weekend is fun and enjoyable and a blast. And, you know, I guess the only thing left to say is, till next time. By the way, all the people that bought memberships today and stuff, God bless you. God bless you. It's God's work you're doing. Let's try and grow this baby. Let's try and get more subscribers and stuff, right? By the way, X, formerly known as Twitter, people, that's another benefit of joining on YouTube is you get free memberships and people give you stuff. But if you like doing it on X, keep doing it there. I want you to be happy. So anyway, till next time, we'll see you next time.